Hey guys, so I thought I'd do something a little different today. I did have actually had something different planned, but unfortunately oh, there goes the cat. That was Mitch. Um Unfortunately my last video that I recorded somehow recorded in portrait and not landscape, which made the video really weird and everything was kind of crammed in the middle and letterboxing on either side. So unfortunately, I can't use that for a estate sale video. So I've been wanting to do these kind of BOLO videos for a while, and show you guys how I research and figure out what to pick up and all that good stuff when you're out and about. I thought it might be helpful to share some tips and tricks with everybody. And I'm going to start with one of my favorite categories. As you all know, I do love to find a good mug. This is a mug that I found at Goodwill recently. And this is actually, I paid $2 for this at Goodwill. And these retail for about $42. They're made in England. It's fine bone china. So, I mean, how could I not? How could I leave this lovely mug on the shelf in the Goodwill? So I figured I'd share some more insights. I have a cup of tea with me 3 or 4 5, 6 times a day, and there's Michigan. So funny. So mugs are close and near and dear to my heart. So I figured I'd do my first Bolo video all about mugs and mug brands to look out for and all that good stuff. So if you like this kind of video and you enjoy this kind of content, because I know it's very different from what I normally post, just let me know in the comments below. If you have anything you're curious about or you would like me to do a video about, leave that in the comment below and I can add that to a wish list. And also, you're probably looking at my little nose here. I do have a little boo-boo, unfortunately. I have a history of melanoma, so I get my skin checked every 3 months, just to be preventative, and I recommend everybody does that and always wear your sunscreen. But today was one of my 3 month checkups, so they did a little biopsy on my nose, and I figured, you know what? It's me, warts and all, as we say in the UK. So, or it's not a wart; it was a lump. It was just a little lump. Um, yeah, so that's what that's all about. And just a reminder to everybody, if you're out in the sun, wear your sunscreen and always get your skin checked. And make sure if you see any new lumps and bumps, go and get that looked at too. All right, so I'm going to go and get started on some research and we will be back in a minute. Insights, you have these three categories at the top here that you can click on. I typically just click on search and browse because I have a idea in mind of what I kind of want to research. So for example, our video today is all about mugs. So we'll just type mug into this field. Oh, mug. I'm also going to look at collectible mugs, because that's where my focus is. I like to pick up collectible mugs, things that people obviously want to collect and they have historical value or cultural significance for now. For example, we'll go over to top listings and you'll see right here Le Creuset have done a Pokemon collection, so pop culture has its name all over this one. This one got almost 5,000 impressions. Now, an impression is just a view, so 5,000 people looked for or viewed Pokemon cups of some kind from Le Creuset. In the last, I think this is a 90-day filter. Usually is about a 90-day filter. There's been 7 clicks, 5 transactions. The average transaction price for Le Creuset for these Pokemon is $163.50. Total sales for this is over $800. So that being said, if you are out and about and you see some Le Creuset Pokemon mugs, obviously this is a collection. This one is also in that listing category. They're in a gift box. They're not singles, so there's more than just the Pokemon value with this. It comes in a gift box. It's probably new. It's a limited edition. You have all 4 pieces and they're all in great shape. So all of those things kind of play into the getting this $163.50 average price for these mugs. Crazy enough, if you look at the top here, We have Steve Harrison. He's only sold one mug in the last 90 days, but it went for almost $2,000, which is crazy. So for me, I'm like, holy heck, let me go and take a look at these Steve Harrison mugs. So the one that he just recently sold is this very almost colonial American. I should say Steve Harrison is actually a Welsh based London gentleman or potter or artist. Um, so he is not in the US. He's not a US base, and it looks like this mug shipped from Japan. So these are definitely going to be a hard to find bolo, and bolo stands for be on the lookout for an item. So these are going to be a hard to find bolo for us in the US, but nevertheless, I wouldn't mind coming across a $2,000 mug. So that's this mug. And I got curious about the maker's mark, and they don't show it too clearly, but it is here on the side right here. That is the maker's mark for that mug. So I went and I thought, well, let me see how many Steve Harrison mugs there are for sale. And there are 23 of his mugs available, and you can see they're all very similar texturally, very simplistic. I do think I love this one. Like, I'm obsessed with this one. I would love to find this mug, but look at the price on this. It's best offer $2,150 for this mug. As you can see, this is his maker's mark. So sear that maker's mark into your memory. And if you see that anywhere in the UK or anywhere around the world, actually, yeah, grab that baby up. But I love this one. I love this little floral design on this one. And then he also has some this is another one where his maker's mark is a little bit more prominent. The crown usually signifies, when you see a crown on something, it does usually signify it's in the UK, for obvious reasons. But I do love this one. It's, again, very almost colonial American salt glazed mug. Another one for $2,000. So all of his mugs, these are clearly not his mugs, but I don't know how they got in there because of the Harrison. So there's not a lot on the market. What is on the market is very high priced. We'll just quickly take a look at Seoul, because obviously the Seoul comps are the most important. And he has two. This one sold from Japan for the 2000, and then this one sold delivery from the UK for $432. So definitely something worth keeping your eyes peeled for. Okay, so another way to search, especially when you're out in the field and you're looking and you're in an estate sale or a tag sale environment or a Goodwill, thrift store, whatever environment you are out searching for things, is your eBay app directly. So what I would typically do is if I'd found something, I would do a search on the eBay app. You can take an image of something and then the eBay will do a search. If, for example, I wanted to I'm here at home, I just wanted to look up Deneen mugs. Now, I do like Deneen mugs. I've sold quite a few. I actually sold one very similar to this recently. These are a great mug to pick up. A lot of hotels, cafes, places like, national parks, they do a lot of work with Deneen pottery, so they are becoming quite common. So as with everything, I think the older mugs would probably have more value, but they're still always really well made, and I just love to pick them up. So that being said, I just typed in Deneen pottery mug into the search bar. Just left it a very broad search, so you can narrow your search by adding more and more keywords. So if I wanted to just look up green, I would just do green mug, and then that should then filter down to everything, as you can see, that is just green. So I'm going to take that green out because I do want to keep my filter pretty wide, and then I would scroll down here to filter by solds. So you can see I've now got two filters here. I've got completed listing and sold listings here, and then over here I would actually change this to price and shipping highest first. So Death Wish coffee. You should also remember the name of Death Wish coffee, because this is a really really big bolo brand just in general. It doesn't have to be a Deneen pottery mug or what's the word I'm looking for, or any kind of mug. You could do Death Wish coffee t-shirts. Death Wish coffee itself is pretty much a bolo brand, regardless of what they're putting their logo on. It could be a t-shirt or a bag. So definitely do some research on Death Wish coffee as a unique search filter. But for now, because we're sticking with mugs, we're going to look at mugs. But as you can see, this Death Wish pottery with a golden ticket, which is very unusual, I have no idea what that is, went for almost $2,000. And then this wasn't the one I sold, by the way. I think I sold a green one for about $24. But then again, you've got this Death Wish coffee here that went for $2.75. This one went for $2.39. So there's a definite theme here with Death Wish and Deneen pottery as a collab. Are definitely worth picking up and keeping your eyes peeled for. So, and all of them are going for really good money. Is it all Strider, Death, Deneen pottery, Disney? So, and then we're coming down into the more, I don't even want to say generic, but more expanded branding ideas, I guess is what I'm looking to say. So, but as you can see, Deneen pottery mugs, they do go really, really well. I think I have. Okay, so what would a mug video be without a look at Starbucks mugs? Now, Starbucks mugs are flooding the market. Obviously, there's over 180,000 listings, and their pricing is all over the place, $5 to hundreds of dollars. So this is just what we're looking at here is just the listings that are available for sale right now. So let's just take a quick peek and see what's the highest priced. I don't know who's selling a $20,000 Starbucks mug. There's something weird about that. But some of these other mugs do go for good money, especially these travel mugs. Now, the travel mugs, there is a caveat to the travel mugs. There are the original ones, which are the big money mugs, and then there's a newer release, 2020 or 2022, I think. And those newer releases will go in the $50 range, and the original first releases are the ones that do go for big money. Now, that being said, what we're looking at here is listings for sale. So you can list anything you want for whatever price you want. Doesn't mean you're going to get that price, and you should always look at sold comp. So what we'll do is we're going to go over here and we're going to filter by sold and completed, and we're still on shipping highest first. So as you can see, these travel mugs, you got to make sure that you get the correct year, but these Been There series, which is all different country names, are the hot sellers, are the things that everybody's looking to find. So definitely keep your eyes open for those Been There mugs. The other thing is I would definitely recommend, you can see they're all the Been There mugs are these, the ones that are the highest for sale. The Hello Kitty is another one that always sells. Hello Kitty is a brand that it will always sell regardless of what you're looking at. Let's scroll through here. Let's go to about page 4 and see what's coming up, and it's still the Been There series. So let's go and have a look at the lowest, just out of curiosity. Oh, funny. Some of these Been There mugs are very low listings as well. Sometimes if you're a reseller, it's not a bad idea to look for those lower listings for sale, because a lot of times people will put them on an auction, and not a lot of folks do auctions these days. Everybody just buy it now. So you can actually score some pretty good deals on the auction listings or the lower price buy it nows. So as you can see, mugs prices start from $5 all the way up to 5,000. So it's always a good idea to do a Google Lens search or do an eBay lens search when you are out shopping for Starbucks mugs. Okay, and another category of mugs that is very popular and very collectible are vintage tiki mugs. These are terrifying. I don't know who thought that these would be a big seller, but they're clearly a genius, whoever this person is, because at 4,000 and 4,000 each, and look at how many bids. They got 25 bids and 36 bids. Those are wild. That's a 1960s Ren Clark Polynesian Village severed head mug. Let's take a look at that real quick. I'd have to look at this for a second. Wow, that is wild. So, Ren Clark's Polynesian Village. So, let's remember that name when we're out hunting, but that is terrifying. Anyway, I digress. So tiki and tiki brand mugs, especially the vintage style, are very popular. Obviously, they're not so much a coffee mug or a tea mug, but more of a Polynesian or Hawaiian drink mug, alcoholic or frosty beverage mug. But there are some cool ones out there. I really like these. Bob's Hawaiian Village Tiki Head mug. They're kind of cute. They look like little deer. But yeah, you see, tiki mugs are where it's at. Just looking to see if there's any like geez, what's the word I'm looking for? Brand name that keeps popping up. Trader Vic's is definitely a brand name that does pop up a lot and does, command a good amount of money. So Trader Vic's, and what was the other one? Ren Clark's. Yep, Ren Clark's was the other one. But I'm just getting into tiki mugs. I found one the other day. It was not an old one. It was a Crate and Barrel, like a green Crate and Barrel one. I picked that up the other day. But these vintage looking ones, from those old Hawaiian lounge type bars and places, are definitely worth picking up. Um, so I just for a little bit of fun, I wanted to take a quick look at these tiki mugs before we moved on to something else. But they're very cool. I mean, even these, I picked these up for, these are I guess they're like the free giveaway drinks that you can get in those restaurants from back in the day. But even these are worth picking up. You can probably pick these up for a couple of dollars at tag sales and estate sales, but they're definitely worth it. So, yeah, that was a quick diversion into a frosty beverage mug as opposed to a coffee mug. Uh, Hope you like that little trip down Hawaiian Lane. Okay, so my last little category in the mug bolo world for me is I am a big fan of the odagiri, or that mid-century modern look. And while they're obviously not as valuable as some of the mugs we've looked at, they are more readily available out in the wild and are definitely something you could pick up for a couple of dollars and flip for a decent amount of money. These are really pretty. I've never heard of this person before, Felipe Dörflinger. Sounds like a German. Let's see what this one says. So this is a new one for me. Oh, those are really cool. They're like glass encased with metal and then cased, and then the glass bubbles like stick out. Those are really cool. So it's Brutalist MCM. So Brutalist just means the architecture or the look of the piece is less pretty and aesthetically pleasing and a little bit more aggressive on the eye. I personally love brutalist design. The town I'm from has a very famous bus station. I'll actually post a picture of it just up here. And it's in a brutalist design from the 60s, and I think it's really cool, but it is not the most popular building in the town that I'm from. So I'll post a picture and show you guys that. I digress again. I'm a terror for that. They used to call me, what did they used to say? if I was in a meeting, I would always pivot to something else. They called it the Keating pivot. It's so funny. Anyway, I digressed again. So yeah, these are very cool. So if you see these out in the wild, it's definitely worth picking these up for sure. Anyway, back to the mugs. Another one that I do see a lot of, and not in sets but onesies and twosies, are these Franciscan Atomic Starburst mugs. So this is the mug, but they do have bowls, dishes, plates, cups, saucers. They have a ton of stuff in this Franciscan Atomic Starburst design. And this is another one that's a really good one to pick up, and you can definitely flip for decent money. Franciscan, you got to be careful with it. So if you are out and you do see Franciscan, do your Google Lens search, because not all Franciscan designs are as popular as they were a few years ago. Like there's some floral rose pattern designs that you kind of can't give that stuff away. But this kind of mid-century modern, this atomic starburst is definitely something worth picking up. Another favorite of mine are these Odagiri style mugs. I tend to find these quite often in Goodwills and at tag sales, and they're always a couple of bucks, but they're always super cute. Like, look how cute this is. The owl. I have a soft spot for owls. The thing with the Odagiri is they tended to have paper labels, and obviously when you're using mugs, the paper labels are going to come off with washing. So definitely, again, use your Google Lens or your eBay lens. But I pulled up some Odagiri labels for you to look at. You'll often see this OCM here. So this is Otagiri. This is a Japan label, mid-century 1960s label. So anytime you see this paper label on something, you know that that's going to be an Odagiri item. But as you can see, these are going to come off with washing. Occasionally you'll find them because people tended to have these pretty mugs and then they wouldn't use them, so they would just put them on display. But more often than not, the Odagiri mugs are going to be missing those labels. These are to me look more like those soup cups. They're listed as coffee tea mugs, but to me these look like soup mugs. But they're still cute and they still have a really nice, this looks more 90s to me, this 90s kind of Southwest style. But again, I love all of these kind of mid-century mugs. This is the Roadrunner. I think these are soup mugs. Maybe I'm not. I don't know. You tell me, what do you think? Soup or coffee and tea? So there's a lot of really pretty designs out there. I'm trying to find the seagull ones. Oh, look how cute this mushroom one is. Mushrooms were a big design aesthetic back in the 60s, and these are really cute. This kind of stylized floral looking. And then there's some Otagiri seagull. Kind of a nautical look. I often find these in tag sales. I really like these. So again, these aren't your big buck items, but they are things that you can readily find out in the wild. And looks like this one actually has a label on it. Yeah, Odagiri. These are things that you can definitely find out in the wild, definitely find in your Goodwill for $1 or $2, or at a tag sale or a estate sale for $1 or $2. And they will sell, and you can definitely flip them for anywhere upwards of $25, $30. You know, obviously do your research, look at your sold comps and all that kind of stuff, price competitively in the market. But there is money to be made in mugs. I know you guys probably laugh at me when I pick up my mugs, because I do tend to pick them up based on like an emotional reaction that I have. Like if it's got an owl on it, oh my god, it's so cute, I have to have it. But I think other people would probably emotionally react to a really cute owl mug as well. So it might not sell for a great amount of money, but if I found a cute owl mug that I can't keep because I've got more than enough, I can find that cute owl mug a new home somewhere else. Anyway, that is going to conclude our mug seminar for the day. I hope you enjoyed it. I actually really enjoyed making this, and I learned some stuff as well. And a few names that I didn't recognize. Like I think there was one that that Felipe Derflinger. And then I also learned John Glick was another brand, and Steve Harrison was another brand that I had never heard of, but I will now add those to my to find lists while I'm out there larking about and looking for things. Anyway, thank you so much, guys, for watching the video, and hopefully we'll see you on Friday for another estate sale trip with, it might just be me on Friday and probably my mum and I on Saturday. But if you like our videos, please don't forget to like and subscribe and leave us all those comments and any ideas you might have for any more of these type of videos. And we will see you soon. Bye, guys.